Should you be buying Google right now with the latest news coming out of their new chips? With stock prices nearly back up to all-time highs, is it a good time to be buying into this stock? In this video, we shall be trying to find out exactly this. We'll be looking at some of the news surrounding Google, as well as putting their financial data into my system to help us to see whether or not this is a good time to be buying into Google going into 2025. So in case you somehow don't know what Google is a multinational technology company specializing in internet-related services and products, with the primary business areas being the search engine of Google and Google Chrome, advertising, cloud computing, software and apps, hardware, AI, machine learning, and other ventures. These other ventures being autonomous vehicles, health, and smart cities. So if you weren't aware, Google is a massive player within the US stock market. As of recently, Google has come out with a quantum computing advancement as a Willow next generation quantum computing chip has been announced. This advancement is targeted at transformative applications like drug discovery and energy optimizations. While quantum computing has long-term potential, it also raises concerns about the impact of blockchain security. Currently trading at $140-ish. Analysts project a potential upside with price targets ranging from $165 to $240 for 2025, reflecting a moderate buy due to growth prospects and AI cloud services. However, Google and Alphabet, if you're looking at the actual stock name, is not without its risks at the moment. Increasing regulatory scrutiny and intensifying competition, particularly from Amazon and Microsoft in cloud services, remains a risk for Google. Furthermore, there might be the potential that Alphabet might have to sell off their Chrome service as they have a so-called monopoly on the market. However, this is just a up in the air thing at the moment. I personally don't think it will actually go through, as who actually can buy Google who doesn't already have a monopoly on a market. So overall, Google is a strong player with significant growth opportunities, particularly within AI in 2025 and quantum computing. It faces challenges externally with these regulatory pressures and competitive dynamics. So with that being said, what will I say about Google? Let's see what their financials say within my system. So looking at the past 5 quarters for Google, we can see a liquidity rate. We will get onto retention rate. This shows the total cash to debt, and currently we are above 1, really positive for Google, and trend lines are projecting this to be relatively stable. We're currently at 3.5, nothing to worry about here. This is looking good. Now looking at the retention rate, we are at a massive 29.8. So again, nothing to worry about here. In fact, this is actually incredibly strong, as you want your stocks to be around 10% if they are no longer in the so-called growing phase. So this is incredibly strong for Google. Looking at the free cash flow, we can see this is steadily increasing-ish. I mean, again, nothing to worry about here. It's massively high, and trend lines are actually projecting this to increase again over the next 2 quarters. So nothing to worry about. Again, incredibly strong for Google, which is exactly what you would expect for a company this size. Looking at a 365-day exponential chart, we can see volume is set to be decreasing and price is set to be increasing. Seeing these go against each other is really strong. We are currently just above the trend line, which is really bullish. We might see us meet this trend line, and ideally you want to be buying in on the trend line, as I do think the stock will start to climb up. And again, a very similar story on the 90-day chart. However, we are seeing volume start to increase on this chart. Just trying to find the mouse. There we go. So again, ideally, you want to be buying in and around this trend line. So looking at the figures for Google, we can see a P/E ratio of 25.17, a 52-week high of 195 and a low of 129, this being a difference of 65, and we're currently at 189, so we are currently at the higher end of this. And a beta rate of 1.01, so that's actually quite incredible for a stock that grows at the rate of Google. And we can see a beta rate of 1.01, which means on a volatility scale, we outperform the Nasdaq by 1.01 times. So it's not a very volatile stock. So for long-term investments, this is what you want to see. As of recording this, the volume is below the average, which again is what you pretty much want to see when we are growing. Although saying that, as of recently, we have seen a little selling pressure. So again, it's not that bad, because if you see a lot of volume being traded, that can indicate a lot of volatility, of course. Now having a look at Graham's formula to see whether this is a buy or sell. On the left we can see the original, on the right we can see a more bearish revised version. On the left we can see that the intrinsic value shows at $267 per share with a margin of safety at 75%. The acceptable buy price comes out at $200 and this is currently a buy with the price being at $189. And on the more harsh chart on the right, we can see the intrinsic value is at 155 with a margin of safety of 75% again. This comes out to an acceptable buy price of $116 and that shows a sell. So we're currently in between the two of these. The original, of course, saying that it is time to buy, and the revised one saying it's time to sell. So in my mind, that just says hold. I think ideally you want to be buying in when we are reaching the revised price for sure, but it's definitely not a negative thing at all for this stock. This is actually really quite good. So we're now going to look at Lynch's value on this stock. We are currently seeing results of 0.5, which shows that this stock is overvalued. We want to see this at least around the 1 mark. So it just backs up again that it's not really a brilliant time to buy. However, that could definitely be worse. I've seen worse ones before. So I'm not particularly bearish on this, but I won't be buying in the next, I don't know, month or two. Early 2025, depending on whether this changes, it could definitely be a good time to buy. But that's enough about what I think about this stock. Let's see what the analysts think. So in the next 90 days, they're projecting a high of around 230 and a low of around 150. Personally, I think we're going to see a bit of a correction now, but it's not going to last too long. And I do think overall we will get to around the 220 mark. But again, that is my own personal opinion. Don't come for me in the comments if you disagree or do. I don't really mind. And based off of 61 analysts, they are projecting this at a buy. Personally, I'm putting this at a hold right now. But again, it's kind of in between the two right now for me. But I would be putting this at a hold. I think we will see a better buying price in the next month or so, as it is pretty hyped up at the moment due to this new chip in which they're bringing out. So potentially it should drop, in my mind, in the next month. And when I say drop, I don't mean drop like massively. It will just start to see a bit of a decline, a bit of a correction, but then it would be a good time to buy in. So what is the 2025 outlook for this stock? They are projecting a price target of around, that was an awful line, of around $205 on this. This is based off of 61 analysts, which does make sense. And of course, what we were talking about earlier, this buy, sell, holds chart is off of a long-term 12-month price target, which I do agree with. But personally, I will be holding as of right now to try and wait a couple months to wait and time the market, which never really works, but it's worth a go. Speaking of timing the market, let's see what TradingView says for this stock right now. Looking at the Sharpe and Sortino ratio in the very bottom right of your screen, if you can see that, it's currently at minus 1.37, so it's currently not a good time to be buying in, of course, with this recent spike. This is a daily chart. And looking at the trend lines, we are well above them all at the moment, which shows a incredibly bullish indication. But of course, I do think we will see a correction in the next month. But my own personal opinion, and when I say correction, I think it might go to around 160. It will meet some sort of resistance around here-ish. So that is my opinion on this stock. So that concludes this video. I hope you have found it useful. That is just my own personal opinion on the stock. And again, of course, I'm not a financial advisor, so don't come for me if you don't agree with me. You're more than welcome to, though. But I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have found it useful or entertaining in any sort of way, please do leave a like and subscribe. It would be greatly appreciated. With that all being said, I will see you for the next video.